Good afternoon, Floss Tube friends. It is Saturday, November 17th, and I am running very quickly to say hello, catch you up on some finishes, and at the end share some books for the season for our children or grandchildren. You will have to ignore in the background the clicking of Roxy's paws. She needs her nails clipped, and on the hardwood floor she is super noisy. The first exciting news I would like to share is that we have a new grandson born this week, this Monday morning, very early. His name is Christopher, and I did finish his crocheted blanket, which I will show you here, and borrowed it back from his mommy so I could show you. And it has been well received, mostly because it is so very soft. This is crochet done in what is called grit stitch, and then there are two, maybe 3 or 4 rows of single crochet border. But he has been wrapped in this all week. I need to return it to him tonight so that he can enjoy it some more. I will definitely use this yarn again. It is called Loops and Threads Abby, A-B-B-Y. But you see the variegation. The yarn does that for you. You don't even have to think about it. This colorway is called Blue Bonnet. There are many other color combinations. This is just a very versatile new yarn, I think, that Michaels carries. So the baby Afghan is finished and in use. Then the next finish that I had mentioned on my last video was the goal to finish my castle on Mary Queen of Scots by Papillon Creations. And you can see that the castle is completely stitched. Underneath the castle, you see the beginning of a new motif that will be under across the bottom of the castle. There will be a few more, maybe a couple more small motifs between the castle and Mary and the other little rosebud motif, which I probably need to fill in before I finish the motif under the castle. But you can see again how much fun this is to stitch in the one color. Still loving the red on this linen. And if you have not seen the whole sampler before, let me hold that up for you. It's going to be very large, but this is what we have so far, and this is the very center of the whole thing. And if you remember, I had done just the Y of the alphabet because that was the middle of the sampler to work my way down to the rest. Such a lovely stitch, much fun, hard to put down. And just in case you have forgotten, this is what the sampler packaging looks like. It's my first Papillon creations. I'm quite impressed with the way they package and the way they chart. Very much impressed. And in case you've forgotten, this is DMC 816, this red. Now, you all on my last video were amazing encouragers to give me ideas as to how I could finish my St. Paul's Cathedral, which is a heritage collection designed by Sheila Elliott. And I have put into place all the suggestions that you all gave. Some had said to pull the DMC colors to be sure I had the right color when I was confused. Several people said do at least 1 strand a day because then you know you're making progress. Someone else said just take a break from it and come back to it. Anyway, I have done all of the above, and you guys are amazing to have encouraged and given such wonderful suggestions. The piece is not finished, but it is coming along so much better. You can see the green of the tree is almost finished on that side. A lot of the beiges and browns are filled in the middle, and the little tree on the other side is almost finished. So this will most assuredly be a before Christmas finish, and hopefully will be framed for our son and go under the tree. When I look at it here on the camera, I don't know why I didn't just finish it. It is such a lovely, lovely piece. And I was doing some reading on the cathedral itself, and I want to share a little bit of that history with you. When I am finished with this piece, I will give you some of the most interesting information about St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Some things I had not known. Definitely of historical as well as architectural interest. And of course, a beautiful place of worship. So thank you for all those suggestions. It's working, and I am going to continue until this is finished. That was just what I needed from all of you precious people. We are about to travel again to go to our daughter's graduation, and you know, without me even telling you where we are headed, back to Bonnie, Scotland. So you may not hear from me for several weeks, because we will be over there for almost 2 weeks, and then when we get back, the Christmas season will be in full swing. So I wanted to be sure that I caught up with as much as I could before I was out of the country, and I'll want to tell you our highlights when I get back. But this is a piece that I'm going to pack in my carry-on because it is a simple stitch, and it's one I really want to finish. You know that I got several of these Riolis kits when they were on sale at Hobby Lobby. And this one, I believe, is Lilies of the Valley. But it's just on Ada. This is, what size Ada does it tell me? 16 count. And I've even got my little John Lewis hoop on here, the one I acquired in Scotland. But you can see that I've gotten a lot done on this week. I put it in my purse to take with me to work, and also when I was helping at my daughter's with the new baby. So this one is definitely going with me on my trip, and I would love for this to be a finish so that in the new year I could figure out if I want it framed or if I want a little pillow. It would match beautifully either in our den or in our bedroom. But I think on the plain, stitching on Ada is going to be a good thing for these old eyes. If you remember, Riolis gives you rather interesting wool acrylic yarn. It's not really floss, but I have not had a moment's trouble working with this. I've actually enjoyed it very much. I'm hearing some mixed reviews from people stitching Riolis online, but so far I have thoroughly enjoyed my Riolis experience. So I'm going to definitely take this one with me. The other one I'm considering taking is one that I gave away for my last giveaway, but I bought myself one as well. It is the Country Cottage Needlework Shop. And it looks like lots of blocks of color that would be good stitching for being out and about, or at least on buses, trains, and airplanes. So I just went into my stash rather than waiting on ordering, and a sweet friend had shared some Ada with me. So I'm going to take this Ada, and I'm going to do the needlework shop on it. I believe this is 18 count, but it's just a beige. Well, what would you call that? Ivory? I'm not sure, but it is a Charles Craft. It's a little stiff, but very soft and very dense. So I think that would work well for the little needlework shop, and I think the colors would show up well on that. The other project I may pack in my big bag, but I may not get any stitching on, is one I definitely want to start in 2019. And you've seen this before. This is my big toe, the Apostles' Creed. This is the version that is not monochromatic, and then if you can see, you cannot for the glare, the little corner is one that is monochromatic. I'm doing it in a beautiful, beautiful, almost white linen. And this will be the size. I love this linen. It's very, very beautiful. And I'm using the Gentle Art sampler threads, the color Midnight, which is a beautiful variegated blue. And if you remember, it's the same blue I used in my Long Dog sampler that I did as an anniversary gift for my husband. So in the video, the blue shows up a little darker than it is. You can't really see the variation, but on the fabric it will show up very beautifully. And I have ordered enough of these so that I have plenty. So it's going to be packed, and if there are nights in the hotel that I feel that I have enough light, I will definitely pull this one out because I am itching to start it. Now, for anyone who is not a book lover, it will be time for you to turn off your video, and I thank you for dropping in and catching up a little with me. Just know that I'll be back with you after my trip with more information about what has been accomplished and hopefully more plans for 2019. I have really enjoyed hearing all of your plans for the new year and seeing all the beautiful things you're stitching for Christmas, which I have not done much of this year, but that's okay. It's been such a busy, busy fall semester. I'm sure I'm forgetting to tell you something. I do want to say thank you again for those words of encouragement on my last video, because it made the difference in my jumping in on what I knew I needed to finish. And there we are. I got the baby Afghan done, and I got a lot of St. Paul's done, and the castle. So you guys are good cheerleaders. Take care and have a very happy Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. Now, 2 children's books for those who are interested, which I think are very appropriate for this time of year. These are both library copies, which I'm going to share with my grandchildren before we leave. The first is not related to Thanksgiving, but it is related to cold weather and making soup. And it is called Stone Soup. I'm sure you've heard of this, or you may have even made stone soup in a child's school classroom. This book won the Caldecott Honor, or it was a Caldecott Honor book. It did not win the first prize. But it's all about a village who has 2 hungry soldiers come into town, and none of the villagers want to give up their hard-earned, hard-grown food, and so they hide everything. But then when the soldiers say how hungry they are, someone thinks of a wonderful way of feeding the whole village, and that is to bring the big cauldron out, fill it with water, add some clean stones, and then magic happens. Everyone brings to put in the soup, and a delicious vegetable soup becomes available for everyone who is hungry. It's such a good book for children if you are cooking vegetables or preparing them. We always would read it and then cut and pare and peel the vegetables to put in the soup. And in school settings, we've even washed the stones very carefully and put them in the soup. So if you're in the mood to make some homemade soup, that book would be a fun addition for the little ones as you prepare. The other is, I think, our very favorite Thanksgiving story, and it is by the famous author Louisa May Alcott of Little Women fame, and it is called An Old-Fashioned Thanksgiving. And we read this almost every year, or we used to, because it tells the story of a family, and probably pioneer times and all their preparations for Thanksgiving and some of the interesting life events that come about before the actual Thanksgiving meal. The illustrations are delightful. Let me find one to show you. It's almost like a pen and ink, or I guess a charcoal drawing. So almost every page has a lovely illustration, and you will share the lives of the large family, their pets, and their ups and downs. And it is in the beautiful style that Louisa May Alcott always uses for her writing. I want to read you the first sentence because it will give you an idea of how this book goes. Many years ago, up among the New Hampshire hills, lived Farmer Bassett with a house full of sturdy sons and daughters growing up about him. Doesn't that make you just want to jump right in the book and learn more about the sturdy sons and daughters? And you will not be disappointed. There are laughs in the story. There is sentiment, lots of family, give and take, lots of family life. Here's the mom preparing part of the Thanksgiving. And it's one you can pull out every year. Even in the back of this edition would be the menu and then some recipes. We've never tried the recipes. We kind of have our own Thanksgiving recipes. But what fun to see. Plum pudding. One year we should actually try to make a plum pudding. Jam cake, acorn squash with sausage, Johnny cake. How about that? Cranberry sauce with raisins. We don't put raisins in our cranberry sauce, but apparently they do. So 2 very delightful children's books for fall, for cold weather, and especially for Thanksgiving. Thank you again for coming to see me, and I hope we can visit again before the new year, and I'll do my best to catch up on as many of your videos as I can. Just know that I appreciate you and that your encouragement meant all the difference, and I, in turn, would like to be an encourager to you. Take care, and again, happy Thanksgiving.